Service animals are used for helping those with disabilities, but many times people who use them are turned away from businesses. According to Service Animals Central, nearly 400,000 Americans have service animals. One Sulphur woman told Kayla Corvell it's time our community learned more about them and how to react when you see one.
Adele Doucette was a thriving young woman, a straight-A student and an avid dancer with a bright future. But a tragic event caused her to develop an anxiety disorder. She found herself off the dance floor and isolated within her own body with a diminishing will to live. For years, Doucette was in and out of hospitals suffering from post-traumatic stress disorder. It wasn't until 2 years ago a four-legged boy changed her life again.
It's nice to be not so anxiety ridden when I have him.
Doucette found a service dog training center in Shreveport, Louisiana, where she says God matched her with Roman, a dog trained to sense PTSD.
So half the time I don't even know I'm having anxiety. He knows before I do.
Doucette says Roman uses her smells on her body and on her breath to let her know when something isn't right.
He'll misbehave where it's called acceptable defiance, which is basically them really acting bad to get you to realize, hey, something's wrong, and they do it to get you out of wherever you are.
But one night, her mom noticed Roman acting up while Doucette was asleep.
He started alerting to something we didn't know. We knew it was not anxiety and PTSD because it was a different alert, and I had gotten into a wreck, and so we just decided to go to the neurologist, and we figured out he was alerting to focal seizures.
Roman changed Doucette's life. She no longer sits in the car while her mom shops for groceries or isolates herself from the people she cares about.
I'm so much more happy and healthy than I would be. I've become so more open to talking to people now. I still have my days where I'm like, I don't want to talk to you. But usually those are days when I'm with my mom and she'll do the talking for me and she'll explain everything so I can just go walk off and do the shopping.
But having a service animal brings some people to raise questions regarding their value. Attorney Rock Palermo explained what the American Disabilities Act is used for.
The rights you have as a person, someone who has a disability, is to have a dog to help you with your disability that is trained to do work or a task. A service dog is really an extension of you. For example, like a wheelchair. A wheelchair helps you live your life.
Doucette has been turned away from multiple restaurants due to needing Roman by her side.
You cannot be denied service in the same way as if you came in with a wheelchair. They cannot deny you service just on the basis that you have a service animal.
But since there's no clear-cut laws to classify a service dog, many times those with disabilities are turned away.
It's frustrating because you try to educate people, especially when they don't know. You're like, well, okay, you can't do that. And you try to bring up the laws and everything, and they're like, oh, well, you still can't come in. And so you just kind of have to walk away and go find somewhere else to eat.
As a business owner, there are only 2 questions you can ask someone with an animal who enters your establishment.
Is it a service dog, and what was it trained to do for you?
In addition, a service animal is expected to act as if it's a piece of medical equipment.
If the dog were to growl at someone, you could be asked to leave. The dog would be asked to leave. Because that wouldn't be conduct that would be appropriate for you.
For Doucette, her mission in life is to raise awareness for those who need service animals. If you encounter someone with a service animal, Doucette says there are some things you must refrain from.
They shouldn't make kissy noises. They shouldn't try to call the dog, especially if their name is on the vest. They shouldn't do drive-by petting, which I call drive-by petting because when they're walking by, they graze his back, and that should not happen. Don't freak out when you see us just because there's a dog in the store, and don't say it's gross. Don't say it's unsanitary because they're obviously clean. He gets a bath weekly.
For Roman, being Doucette's service animal is his main priority.
When they're at home, they can be pets, but they're medical equipment when they're working.
Because service animals take alerts from the smell of their handler, by petting them or calling their name, they can become distracted and miss an alert from their handler. Service animals are making positive impacts on their handlers, but Doucette says it's time people get informed on what these four-legged friends can really do. Doucette also says that just because you pay money to register your animal as a service animal online doesn't mean it's trained to be one.
Sit.
At your service, Kayla Cravell, KPLC 7 News.
For more information on service animals and the American Disabilities Act, visit kplctv.com.